Guys, hello and welcome to the Liberian
Mr.
TV Network.
Samuel
We are right here at Make a Press Conference right now. We are
is the
broadcasting
actual
live
speaker
from
today
Boston.
because
Happy
of
with
that,
the influence and Princess Kiriakipi.
not very
So
well.
let's bring you
But
details.
I thought to just say a few words on certain issues before Mr. Samuel continues. To start with, I want to thank representatives of the Mika reporters who show up and participated in the funeral of my late nephew. They represented you well, and I'm proud of them. They show that all of us here are one family. The government is continuing with the business of making progress. We had a special retreat in concert with our international partners last Thursday because we realized that following the crafting of our new national development agenda, the global landscape changed as a result of the elections in the US. And so most of the costing that we did as a government, I faced with some challenges. It was therefore necessary for us to go into retreat, figure out new innovative ways of resource mobilization, and remain committed to delivering on the new development agenda as we have crafted. Generally, we are still on course, and much more practical ways are being found to determine how we raise the necessary resources to move on usage, which has been effective with just one source of the different forms of support. So much of it are intact, even though their own countries are also, and some national or multilateral organizations are also impacted. But generally, we think we can find our way through and do what we're supposed to do. In fact, at that retreat, it was established that in one particular sector, the government is keen on overperforming. And that's the infrastructure sector, where we build in roads and other public infrastructures. It is established, and it was made clear that that sector of our governance process will overperform, which for us is good news. So they're doing what they can do. Roads are being built, other public infrastructures are being built. We're expanding in energy. If you notice, some of the very people who are complaining every day about the performance of the LEC are now full of praises. The expansion of the street lights are continuing. The water and sewer is making huge progress. They brought in their new pipes, the 48-inch pipe. They're installing them already. They're taking water to additional places. We have enhanced our foreign relations with promoting peace and security, and the country is basically on par. But there's another thing that is happening that I've tried to link with all that I've just said. We've always said there are some people in our society who are irritated and get angry when they see the country make progress. Some of those who I think are detractors and anti-progress agents are again angry because they see that progress has been made. Most of them are simply self-centered. They care only about what benefits them. None of you here, you are media people, you're in the media landscape. Did you not hear one lousy politician say that he wants the Bouaka Koun administration to fail so as to enable his quest for the Liberian presidency? Who in their red mind seeks the failure of an entire nation and its people only because they want to be president? Who does that? Don't you see that some of these very people are simply bad apples among us? Some of them led political parties here for the last 6 years. They were heard loud on tape talking about the excesses and misdeeds of their leader, who was then our president. Even though they were heard loud speaking what they said on a very informed basis because they knew what they were saying, the king went back to us to describe all that they said in those tapes as liquor talk. They remained in charge of their party, and they led their party to defeat. Today, they've changed their garment again and now purporting to be a civil society organization leader or a civil society activist. And the only thing we hear and see from them on a daily basis is the threat of initiating protest. And we've got to learn not to forget history. These same actors during the Salib administration were so passionate about the establishment of a war and economic crown court. They formed a whole organization, and they were agitating and advocating for the establishment of a war and economic crimes court. Throughout those days of Madam Selma, then they came to power, and these same individuals were part of the arrangement. At that time, they dropped the political government. No, they dropped the civil society government, that advocacy government that they were using to say they want war crown court, and took unto themselves a new political government because they were not chairman of a political party. Then the whole vision for wanting a war and economic crimes court disappeared. The man was a part of an arrangement that was not anti-war crime court, even though they've been advocating for that years back. And they sat there, they enabled the administration, they plundered the country, they took the country back years, they remained in charge, led that party to the electoral process, and of course, they were severely whipped. Then they went back in the cubicle now, woe again, a government called civil society government, and are now purporting to be a civil society organization, attempting to exploit the situation that has evolved with the motorcyclists. And they are calling for protests every day. They are back again, and we're paying attention to them. We want to urge them to redirect their energy to things that are useful as Liberia is progressively moving forward under the administration of Joseph Waka and JKK. Because it's just clear, every time the bell of progress rings, then they run to the media and talk about how looming protests are coming. As a government, like I said, we're paying attention. We'll keep this place and this country safe. So as they plan their so-called protest, they just got to be mindful and be aware that there is a government here that has a constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property, ensuring public order, protecting our citizenry, and we will do so every day and every night. They got to be aware. You see, so many things have gone wrong. That's why the country doesn't make progress. Somebody travels from here, they move to Sierra Leone, they go to Ghana, they go to Nigeria, they come back. They got things to talk about that they believe are not happening here. I guess most of those things are not happening because of politics. Something that is necessary that needs to be done. Somebody will shy away from it because they believe it's going to take votes away from it. And that's why we have a president who has said continuously his thought process, the thing he thinks about, is about the next generation and not the next election. So we have a special task force led by the EPA, public work is on, police is on, different groupings are on. That task force is basically moving about and looking in all the alleys, the waterways, the mangrove swamp, all the structures that people have built there. That task force is taking them down. We're moving towards the rainy season. Every period we complain about flood. People's homes have been swallowed. We're not paying attention to some of the causes of that. The EPA and the government as a whole determine that all of the things we do in these wrong places, in the mangrove swamp, in the waterways, in the mangrove places, etc., the valleys or alleys, are responsible for all these situations, and therefore they decide to stand up, irrespective of who gets hurt, to solve those problems once and for all. The Water and Sewer Corporation, on the other hand, have their fire hydrants been buried because those places that were not meant to build homes, people have built homes and different structures there. The government has the political will and is taking down those structures. The Ministry of Public Works is making progress on roads and other infrastructure, and they're also clearing the right of way. In this effort, even government institutions have been affected. LEC poles and lines have been removed. The telco, the lines and structures are being removed. LTA, Orange, Lone Star, all these people have had structures to be removed once they are in the right of way of where the projects are taking place. But again, some of the politicians, angry as usual, are attempting to politicize it. We've seen different comments and different postings of people suggesting that structures were broken down in places because the owners of those structures belong to one political party or the other. So why then are we breaking down structures that belong to LEC, water, sewer, or the telco, etc., if it is about political people? So we just want to caution you to be mindful of what is happening here. You got to pay attention to the fact that there are just some people who don't want to see anything happen here because they want to be said loud on open mic. I want the administration to fail.